Chapter 133. 9 Princesses' Invitation. Dare this girl come to find him to rob tombs? Then again, aren't all the tombs in this imperial capital patronized by her? Is there still one that she hasn't won? By the way, the imperial tomb of the great Tang Kingdom has not been stolen. This girl is not trying to lay hands on the imperial tomb, right? According to this girl's past glorious record, there was really such a possibility. Kang Chon immediately cried and laughed, daring to strike at the imperial tomb. This girl was really bold. He wouldn't mind living long enough to steal the imperial tomb. As expected, the little girl once again whispered, "Little white boy, this time it's a big business. Inside the imperial tomb, there are a lot of accompanying treasures. Maybe there are also some magical powers and spells. This young lady is absolutely generous. All of these belong to you. Thank you for your generosity. I have already seen through the red dust. These are all extraneous things. It's better for you to keep them for yourself." Kang Chon desperately shook his head. Joke. He wouldn't go grave robbing with this girl, and the one he robbed was an imperial tomb. The great Tang Kingdom's state lord was an out-of-body stage powerhouse. Digging his ancestral tomb under his nose. Wasn't that touching a tiger's ass in broad daylight? Looking for death. Regardless of how Zhao Ling attempted him, Kang Chon refused righteously, exasperated. The little girl gritted her teeth, then dropped and ran off to annoy Wanyong. Kang Chon was instantly relieved. This girl was really a scourge wherever she went. After a few more moments, the crowd once again a clamor, but another of the 4 masters of the imperial capital arrived. Kang Chon curiously looked over. The person is the young master of the Sun family, Sun Ji. To be honest, amongst the 4 masters of the imperial capital, this Sun Ji was considered to be the lowest profile. But Jin Sanchao said that this person was very insidious and cunning, telling him to be careful. Kang Chon couldn't help but look twice more. Sun Ji was very powerful and instantly sensed Kang Chon's gaze. He turned back to Kang Chon and gave him a hee-hee smile. Then he did his position. Kang Chon was stunned in his heart. This Sun Ji was very powerful. His strength was not below Li Yuanba, and he was always permeated with a hint of sinister aura, making people very uncomfortable. Right at this moment, a powerful aura came from the entrance of the schoolyard. Then everyone in the field was startled, and the gaze shot towards the entrance. At the entrance of the school ground, a magnificent figure came striding in, and although it didn't deliberately emit a powerful force, that innate invincible aura had already shaken everyone present. Zhao Wuji. Light flickered in Kang Chon's eyes, and the sense of wariness couldn't help but rise in his heart. The person who came was none other than the god of war, Zhao Wuji. This person was a born god of war. Wherever he went, he was the center of attention. Zhao Wuji. When he saw Zhao Wuji appear, Li Yuanba, who was not far away, immediately stood up, his powerful aura forcing his way towards Zhao Wuji. His eyes filled with a shocking battle intent. Zhao Wuji also looked at him coldly. The people in the arena, including the cultivators watching from outside the schoolyard, immediately closed their breaths and all stared intently at the 2 people holding each other in the arena. In the current Great Tang cultivation world, Zhao Wuji and Li Yuanba were recognized as the 2 strongest, and watching the 2 go head-to-head, a wave of anticipation rose in everyone. Although Li Yuanba had lost to Zhao Wuji 3 years ago, but now that 3 years had passed, the crowd was very curious to know if the current Li Yuanba was still a match for Zhao Wuji. The 9th princess has arrived. Just as the atmosphere in the arena was tense, a sharp voice came from the entrance of the schoolyard. The crowd looked at the voice, but they saw a light gauze-covered palanquin slowly coming, and the ones carrying the palanquin were 4 Yuanying stage powerhouses who stepped into the air on foot, walking directly through the air step by step. From that light-veiled tent, the crowd could vaguely see a delicate figure with a delicate figure, and this figure alone had already attracted the hearts of many young talents in the arena. Kang Chon was very curious, Is this the 9 princesses? What a grand style. The ones carrying the palanquin alone were actually for Yuanying stage powerhouses, worthy of being an inner disciple of the heavenly Tao sect. Today, we only talk about the wind and moon. I hope that all the young talents of the great Tang Kingdom will give this palace face. A light and delicate voice came from the green veil tent, like a spring breeze brushing against one's face, clearly reaching the ears of everyone present. Kang Chon was stunned. This hand alone showed that the 9th princess was not simple, definitely an unimaginably strong person. Hearing the 9th princess' voice, Zhao Wuji and Li Yuanba each snorted coldly and returned to their positions. The 9th princess didn't continue to say much. She just sat in the sedan chair and announced the start of the banquet. Immediately, a beautiful serving girl came up with a variety of delicious dishes in her hand. Immediately after, dozens of enchanting young girls wearing tall skirts danced in the field, and there were also several stunning beauties playing the zither on the side. The delicate postures, enchanting figures, and the pleasing sound of the zither instantly made the crowd physically and mentally comfortable and pleasing to the eyes. The banquet was very calm. One by one, the young talents were all very polite, talking to each other in low voices. The 9 princesses hadn't said a word, snuggling in the green veil tent, seeming to be secretly sizing up the crowd in the arena. Kang Chon suddenly felt an unfamiliar divine thought sweeping towards him, still wanting to invade his body to probe. He immediately let out a cold smile, and the star-absorbing grand technique was in operation, instantly devouring that divine thought. Huh! A surprise sound came out from the green veil tent in a whirlwind. Then Kang Chon felt a sharp gaze, ******* coming. He secretly sneered, ignored it, and continued to talk with Jin Sanshao next to him. Interesting. A soft whisper sounded in Kang Chon's ears, and then no sound came. Kang Chon was puzzled in his heart. What did this 9 princess mean? It seemed as if she was interested in him, but for some reason, he vaguely sensed a faint hostility in the other party. Soon after the banquet ended, the 9th princess left without saying anything, and the many young talents also left with her. The crowd watching outside the venue was very regretful. They didn't expect this banquet to be so calm. The originally expected scene of young powerhouses competing didn't appear. Or perhaps the 9 princess intentionally suppressed the crowd and didn't allow them to fight. The crowd was very disappointed, but because of this, everyone was even more looking forward to the duel between Kang Chon and Li Laoshi in a month's time. And even at this moment, some people had already gone to order a place near the life and death stage. It must be said that Jin Sanshao is really a business savvy. He deliberately set up a lot of positions near the life and death platform. Whoever wants to watch the battle at that time need to pay money to buy a ticket, which really let him make a big profit. Of course, this guy also knew to share some with Kang Chon. After bidding farewell to Lei Yun, Liu Suifeng, Wang Yong, and the others one by one, Kang Chon and Jin Sanshao were planning to go back. But they saw a military uniformed soldier walking in a big way. "Prince Kang Chon, the 9th princess is here to invite you," the soldier said solemnly, making a pleased gesture. Kang Chon was instantly puzzled. Why did this 9th princess want to see him? On the side, Jin Sanshao frowned. He secretly transmitted his voice to Kang Chon, saying, "Kang Chon, be careful. This 9th princess's mother is the sister of the Li family's head. She and the Li family have always been close. I'm afraid that this time, the visitor is not good." So it turned out to be so. Kang Chon suddenly realized, no wonder he just felt that there was a hint of hostility in the eyes of the 9th princess. Dare he say that this was the Li family moving in to save the day? It looked like this Li family had made a lot of efforts for the sake of Li Laoshi's matter, or even the 9th princess, who was in the Heaven's Path sect, had been invited to come. Kang Chon could not help but frown. This 9th princess was not simple. The current him had no way to fight against her. Seeing Kang Chon's worried look, Jin Sanshao whispered, "You don't have to worry too much. Even if the ninth princess is hostile towards you, she wouldn't dare to bombard you with what to do, so don't worry and go. Well, you go back first. Kang Chon nodded his head when he heard that. There was nothing in his heart to worry about. With a Yuanying stage puppet in place, this ninth princess couldn't do anything to him. Saying that, Kang Chon followed that soldier to a gorgeous palace within the palace. At the top of the palace, a delicate figure gently snuggled up, charming eyes watching Kang Chon slowly walk in. Kang Chon couldn't help but gaze. The nine princesses' appearance was not as good as Flower Thinking Wrong, but it was even more attractive than Flower Thinking Wrong, and that devilish figure was full of fatal temptation. Are you Overlord Kang Chon? Sure enough, your talent is amazing, not below the four emperors of the imperial capital. It's a blessing for the Great Tang cultivation world that the Great Tang Kingdom has a young talent like you. Princess Nine's lazy voice came out. This was a woman who flattered to the extreme. That mature, tender body, hidden between the green silk long hair cover, the delicate curves, as well as the bare snow-white skin, all flickered with a seductive luster, letting people infinite reverie. But Kang Chon's eyes were incomparably firm, ignoring the nine princesses' seduction, and said indifferently, "The nine princess has flattered. Good, without a trace of genius pride. This palace really likes you more and more." The ninth princess's sexy lips were full of temptation. Between her light smile, her shell teeth were snow-white like jade, and under her long eyelashes, a pair of charming eyes flashed with irresistible temptation. Princess raised love, Kang Chon can't afford it. Kang Chon indifferently said, looking towards the nine princesses' eyes more and more vigilant. This woman raised her hand, and raised her feet exudes a temptation. The general mind is not firm people. Immediately submit to her long skirt under, at her mercy. However, he already knew from Jin San Chao that the nine princesses were the rescuers, moved by the Li family. So he was full of vigilance from start to finish, not daring to have a hint of carelessness. Looking at Kang Chon, whose face had been bland at his highness, the ninth princess's eyes couldn't help but sink, and a pair of beautiful eyes were filled with the slightest bit of cold light. Kang Chon, this palace has heard about the battle contract between you and the Li family's seventh elder. The ninth princess said, with a serious expression, an unquestionable pressure immediately pressing down. This palace hopes that you can lose to the seventh elder in public, and as compensation, after you join the Heavenly Tao sect, you can follow by the side of this palace. Princess Nine's voice was filled with an undeniable tone. The pride of a royal child was displayed in an instant, and her powerful aura fiercely pressed towards the heavens. However, for Kang Chon, who had already comprehended the intent, it was resisted without changing his face. "I'm sorry, Princess Nine's request cannot be granted by me," Kang Chon said coldly, but in his heart, he was already furious. This ninth princess really thought that she was someone else, even forcing him to lose to Li Laoki in public. How could this be possible? As for following the ninth princess, Kang Chon smiled disdainfully. This ninth princess was really smug, thinking that everyone had to revolve around her as if she was. "Idea, you actually comprehended intent." Watching Kang Chon easily withstand his pressure, the ninth princess' complexion was filled with astonishment. Then hearing Kang Chon's words of rejection, her eyes instantly turned morose and cold. "I think you may not have understood the meaning of this palace. This is not a request, it is an order." Princess Nine's voice was incomparably cold, her eyes staring indifferently at Kang Chon, her powerful intent penetrating her body. A terrifying pressure instantly descending, this time more than 10 times more terrifying than before. Kang Chon instantly felt a huge pressure. His body couldn't help but tremble. He comprehended the idea. But the nine princesses of the Yuanying stage comprehended a more powerful idea than him. At this moment, when the nine princess got serious, Kang Chon was instantly unable to withstand this powerful pressure, but he still clenched his teeth and held on. Looking at the way Kang Chon clenched his teeth and insisted, A trace of disdain flashed in the ninth princess's beautiful eyes as she laughed coldly. In front of this palace, you are just a mole cricket. Do you believe it or not? This palace can easily exterminate you with a backhand.